Subscribe, snitches.
What's up, world? It's your boss, International Zoe. You're now watching Barber World TV. I'm here in Pattaya, Thailand, with James or Casino, known as Chocolate Man in Thailand. You guys been watching the channel. You said, yo, you got to hook up with the brother. So shout out to him and shout out to Richie Mack. We're going to connect that too. So let's start from the beginning, brother. Where you from?
Yeah, originally from Washington State, but hey, like I tell everybody, man, lived there 30 years. I was in the military for 23 years, so yeah, the world is my home now, so.
Global,
most definitely.
I call it global gallivanting. So, where have you lived for a decent amount of time, besides Washington?
For the most amount of time, I can't even say the most amount. I never stayed anywhere more than about 4 or 5 years. So okay. I bounced from Florida, South Carolina, Guam, Hawaii, Philippines, and now I live here in Thailand.
Okay, beautiful. How long have you been living here in Thailand?
About 3.5 years.
3.5 years. And before here, where'd you live?
3 years in the Philippines.
3 years in the Philippines. I guess you could call it a good comparison from the Philippines to Thailand.
Right.
What would you say that the strengths and weaknesses, the differences?
Yeah, it definitely, it comes down. Usually for single guys like us, dudes ain't really involved with somebody. It's always going to come down to the women, what you prefer. But then you get on to the secondary considerations like infrastructure, how things are in that country, how the visa rules are. You got to look at all those different aspects. Once you live there for a little while, those things become much more important than just girls. So. Right. After living in the Philippines for a while, yeah, like getting a visa is easier. Of course, finding ladies, not a hard thing. Nightlife is okay. Infrastructure's kind of okay. And then on the inverse, you come over to Thailand, like visas kind of a pain in the ass sometimes. If you want a long stay, women's still good, all that. But infrastructure is very high level. Things built to a high standard here. So, it really just depends on what's more important to you. Right. The argument about Thailand versus the Philippines is long and deep. It goes back for decades. So,
which one do you prefer?
Me, I prefer Thailand. After 3 years in the Philippines and 3 years here, I most definitely prefer Thailand. So, but that's just what works for me.
Right. So you were here through the pandemic, the shutdown, right?
Yep, 100%.
How was that, being here during that time?
Yeah, I can't compare it to anywhere else because I was here the whole time, but for me it wasn't that bad. I actually just started working out again. I'm not in shape now, but I was in shape then. But, I just worked out a lot, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't like people, we had curfews and things like that, but it wasn't like it was heavily enforced or anything like that. There was still a lot of little hush-hush spots. You could still have fun and drink and do stuff, Living here at Pat, it's a party town. It's hard to hold that down completely. Everything was all on the low, but you still had a life here. And it was good. Life was good. Restaurants are still open. Things are still open to a degree that it wasn't that bad being here. It's a lot better than many other places in the world, that's for sure.
Right. What would you suggest for somebody, things to do here besides, everybody knows Walker Street, but what are the other things, being that you live here, what are the other things that someone could do when they visit here?
Once you live here, you're going to realize that, that nightlife stuff gets old and you're going to want to explore the country. And it could not be any easier to explore Thailand. There's so many ways to do it. You can take a bus, take a plane, take a taxi, private car, whatever you want to do. It's so easy to get around the country. It's very easy to figure out where you want to go. Do I want to see islands and beaches? Do I want to see mountains? Do I want to see culture? That type of thing. Just figure out what direction you're leaning towards. Tell a travel agent, look it up online, do whatever you want to do, and you're going to be able to find it. It's very simple to find those things to do. Very simple.
Would you say like maybe 3 things that people should check out while they're here?
Oh, man. It's hard to say. Like the islands are big for me. Like Krabi, the Phang Nga area where all the islands are. That's where you see the big limestone formations, the thing you see in travel videos all the time. That area is insanely beautiful, and watching it on video will not do it justice. You have to experience it in person. And then you got to get up into the mountains like Chiang Mai and stuff like that. See the culture up there, see the mountains, very beautiful. And then, maybe bounce around a few more islands after that. Really up to you. But yeah, Thailand is amazing.
What drew you to Thailand? Was it your military travel, or was it something else that drew you to Thailand?
Right, everything's going to be tied back to my military travel for sure. When I was in the military, I was a loadmaster, C-17, shout out Air Force. Thank you for serving anybody of my military members watching out there. But yeah, I was flying around on a jet traveling the world. So it was great. I saw a lot of different things. We came here to Asia several times. Asia's always kind of been in my heart. You know, I've been coming here to Thailand and the Philippines since about 2008. And yeah, man, it's just more what I'm attracted to, the lifestyle, how things are, everything here just fit me better. I've been to Europe and all those other places. Wonderful places. I love visiting, but where to live is here.
And you had said something earlier in regards to that. You've never been to Colombia.
Right.
But you said, you know, you're not sure if that's going to be for you.
Yeah.
And tell me why you said it. Because
So,
I think you're going to like it, but just tell me what
I would say the cultural differences, like I lived in the Philippines, and it's very similar culture in the Philippines that you're going to find probably in South America, those type of areas. And I'm not necessarily comfortable with all aspects of that culture, but again, I can't judge it. I've never been there. I don't know. A lot of dudes on there, oh, hell no, this brother crazy. You know, they're gonna be hammering on me hard. It's okay. It's okay. You're entitled to your opinion, but you know, I'm gonna get down there and we'll make a fair assessment. You know, I'll get down there and spend some real time. I won't go down for 3 days and I'll go down there for a couple of weeks,
right,
and we'll get a good taste of it, and we'll find out. We'll find out if it's really for me or not.
What's your maybe your top 3 favorite countries?
Of course, anywhere in Asia is really for me. You know, Bali, Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia, all that. Southeast Asia is my favorite, but I love Europe too. Europe is insane.
Switzerland, cities.
Man, just everything there is just that culture and the buildings and just everything. You know, that old history stuff, that old world stuff. I didn't really think I was going to be into that much. I don't like antiques and all that stuff, but man, you go and see those buildings, you know, 500, 600, 700-year-old buildings everywhere and all that. I love that stuff. Right. I love that stuff. So yeah, definitely Europe, like Switzerland, one of my favorite countries ever. Yeah, England was okay. I wasn't a really big fan of England, and I think South America will be it for me as far as like tourist things to see. You know, as far as the tourist stuff goes, I'm gonna love that. I love that. So, right.
So you've been out here for 3 years. What? So you started a YouTube channel, right? Now,
right.
Tell me, the YouTube channel is Chocolate Man in Thailand.
Right.
So tell me what. I kind of know what probably inspired the title, but you tell the viewers what inspired the title of the channel.
Right. You know, a lot of dudes look at this light-skinned brother trying to steal our names. You know, what's he talking about? Trying to appropriate our culture and shit. You know, you ain't dark, you ain't brown, you ain't chocolate, whatever. I don't care about all that. The Chocolate Man thing goes back to the military when they first started coming into Asia, Southeast Asia, the Vietnam War, all that. And it applied to everybody. It wasn't just for black soldiers. It was for everybody who had like candy and shit like that. And a lot of girls would, you know, servicemen would bring them chocolate with them. They call them Chocolate Man. And then, of course, it eventually kind of developed into a race thing where they didn't really know how to refer to black people, so they call them Chocolate Man. Things like that, you know. But that's all. It goes way back. We're talking 50 years ago this stuff started. Right. But yeah, but I don't know what. I saw it one day, or it came to me one day, or whatever, and I was like, man, that name just flows. Chocolate Man in Thailand. I know it's going to be controversial, and that's why it's going to work. So I was like, all right, this is going to pick up a lot of people's attention, so that's why I used it. I was like, all right, cool.
And the women definitely do call you Chocolate Man. They don't say Black Man.
Yeah.
They say Chocolate Man. And I find it kind of sexy, you know what I mean? It's different. I haven't been called Chocolate Man that much, you know, since I've been out here in the Philippines and Thailand. I kind of like that Chocolate Man, you know, and they say women like chocolate, you know what I'm saying? That's one of their favorite candies. They like, you know what I'm saying? So I could dig it. So when I keep hearing women call me Chocolate Man, I say, okay, so the channel makes sense to me. I understand why, you know what I'm saying? But what inspired you to do YouTube, and tell them what your channel is about? What do you cover on your channel?
Yeah, it's like most people, man. During COVID, bored as shit. You know, I have a bunch of other YouTubers I was watching. Of course, I didn't really watch YouTube before the pandemic, and I got turned on to it. I was like, well, hey, these guys aren't doing anything cosmic. I know I can do that. I know my mouth can talk. I know I blab a lot. I know I talk too damn loud. And like, let me try putting it on the internet, see if anybody feels it.
Right.
So that's basically the start of the genesis of my YouTube career. You know, and I was like, I do a lot of shit, man. This is what really bothers me, because if I'd have started like 10 years ago when I was still in the military, traveling the world on the government dime, man, I could probably really be killing it right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, got started about 2 years ago. I still travel. I still do stuff. I was like, all right, cool. Let me start a channel. You know, first I can talk about my life, and then I can talk about my travels, and hopefully people will find it interesting. We're doing well.
Right.
We're doing well.
But right now, are you currently, most of your content is focused on Thailand?
right now. And that, you know, that's where I kind of mess it up because I put Thailand in the name. It flowed. I had to do it that way. I may have to change the name in the future because then we're going to get back into the world traveling game again. You know, we got all the negativity behind us, and now we can move forward and start doing more things. You know, there's nothing holding me back now. I can leave tomorrow, so it's about time to get back out there. I don't know, Chocolate Man in Thailand, reporting from Colombia, whatever. You know, I think my followers and my viewers will still roll with me regardless of whether I'm in Thailand or not. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Tell them what they can expect to see on your channel.
It's going to be my daily life stuff. I'm pretty much a daily life vlogger, whatever's going on that day. So if I'm just kicking it with my girlfriend, whatever, that's what you're going to see. If we traveling around the country, that's what you're going to see. You know, that just keep it real simple. I don't try to tie it into any one genre. I like to keep it as a daily vlog. That way it doesn't matter. You know, like you are tuning in to see my life, not just to see Thailand's.
Right. Tell the viewers maybe who have never been to Thailand or Southeast Asia, maybe give them some points of reference, like what should you do to prepare to come here?
Right, so if you're coming to Thailand for the first time, obviously educate yourself a little bit about the local customs and laws. Know what you can get away with in Thailand and what you can't get away with. There's not a lot of rules. It's not like somebody's going to drag you off to jail tomorrow or something, but just know a little bit about what the culture's about, what you shouldn't do. Some like things with talking about the royal family, things like that, very taboo subjects. Don't go there. Not worth it. Gonna get you in trouble. You know, things you thought you might be able to get away from the States, probably don't do them here.
Right.
But again, you know, you come to a town like Patti, it's kind of the Wild West, so things are a little different here. Get away with a little bit more, but you know, and know what you want to get into here. Like, if you're not into nightlife and all that, then probably Patti and Bangkok aren't going to be for you. Find other places in the country that are more interesting to you. There's airports all over the country. It's very easy to get anywhere interesting in the country. So, yeah, I'd say just do your due diligence, study a little bit. You know, SIM cards at the airport. Maybe get money from ATMs. Not a big deal, but yeah, you're going to need money. You're going to need a SIM card, things like that. Just going to help you get around better. And don't be afraid of getting a guide or using a travel agent. Usually they're pretty good. They're on the up and up. Find somebody reputable to take you around a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, you ain't got a long whooping unless that's your thing.
Tell the people how they can find you if they want to contact you.
Real easy. Chocolate Man in Thailand, everything. If you Google Chocolate Man in Thailand, it'll all come up in the list. Easy.
I don't know. We flew through that. I think all the basic information is there.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Well, thank you. Maybe we'll get some B-roll when we hang out a little later. Appreciate the time, brother.
Yeah, good to see you, Zoe. Good to meet him. International barber. Straight.
Peace.